Stephen.
Go.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for joining us this special episode of Tiger Bite. Thanks for tuning in. This is the midweek review and preview show, bringing you all the news, interviews, and gossip from Glasgow Speedway. I'm Derek Smith. Tonight, of course, a special live edition of Tiger Bite, the first live, unleashed and unedited edition of Tiger Bite. Very exciting. And Apologies. Tonight, the first live edition of Tiger Bite, broadcasting from the club's official YouTube channel, with the links broadcast on Facebook and Twitter. So wherever you happen to be watching from, wherever you've picked up the links from, a very warm welcome to you. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and why not get involved? Let us hear your thoughts. Send us your comments, share the link amongst your friends and followers, and hit that like button as often as you like. Now, tonight, this is the normal point in proceedings where I would introduce my co-host and right-hand man, Brian Copeland. But unfortunately, Brian is feeling a bit poorly. He's off colour these past couple of days and unable to join the show tonight. So I'm flying solo this evening. And Brian, I know you'll be watching the show. Get yourself fit and well. We need you back next week, as I'll probably prove over the course of the next 30 minutes or so. So let's get on with the show then. So absolutely live, exciting to be live to the world, or the Speedway world at least, and of course billed as a live show and an opportunity for us all to hear from and get to know Richie Worrell, who we'll be talking to in just a few seconds. First of all, though, on behalf of everyone connected with Glasgow Speedway, we send our best wishes to two of our young guns, Dan Bewley and Jack Smith, who, as we speak, are probably warming the bikes up in the pits at Wimborne Road in Poole, as they have the biggest nights of their young lives, lining up to challenge for the British Under-21 title in a quality field which includes riders of the talent such as Robert Lambert, Adam Millis and young Josh Bates, to name but three. So a big learning night, I'm sure, for Jack and Dan, and keep track of Tiger's social media activity later tonight, and we'll give you some updates on how the boys went. So let's get on with the main event tonight. A chance, as I say, to get to hear from and to get to know a little bit better Richie Worrell, Tigers number one. Richie, I'm hoping you're on the line and able to talk to me. Come on down, Richie.
I'm here. I'm just trying to work it all out. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Hey, thanks, Richie. Thanks for joining us. Listen, how's your week been? You're a busy boy over the weekend. A guest appearance for Redcar at Armadale on Friday night, and then helped the Tigers rearguard action to see off Workington eventually on Sunday. How was the weekend when you reflect back on it?
It was a good weekend. Plenty of points scored. Like I said, I seem to be doing better. My brother sent me a picture of the averages actually earlier on, or I don't know where he got them from, but I actually got a higher average away than what I do at home, which I'm quite proud of, to be honest.
Well, I've heard you in an interview before, and you tend to be a strong performer for the Tigers away from Ashfield. That's not to say that you don't contribute at home, of course it doesn't, but you seem to be one of these riders who ain't phased by going to any particular track, Richie.
Well, I've always tried. I've been around to a few different tracks now over the years, over my career so far, and that was because I wanted to look. Every track's different, different shape, different shell, different. Sometimes they're different engines for them, and I don't just want to be a one-track pony. You get a lot of guys that are that, yeah, they're brilliant at home, but then they go away and they'll only get a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6. You want to be consistent double figures everywhere you go, and that's what I wanted to do. And like I think I've said this before. That year I went to Somerset. I didn't go there because I was bored. I went there because I wanted to learn, and I took a cut in wages. 3 points. I wasn't scoring as well as I could have done if I went to Glasgow, for example, or Newcastle, or a track that I wanted to be at. But I went there to learn, and you don't see guys do that. Them guys that struggle on one track, they just, right, I've only got to go that track once this year or twice, and then I want to be able to go anywhere and be good.
Well, it sounds like a very professional attitude, and you're obviously very aware of developing yourself, I guess. And I know you've said before you don't want to be a one-track pony, and you're absolutely far from that, Richie. Richie, looking back to Sunday's tough encounter, as it turned out, against Workington, looking back and having had time to reflect on it, were Glasgow a little bit disappointing, or were Workington a surprise package for us, do you think?
Workington was good. They've got a team, and lucky for us, majority of them like Glasgow. And in a way, the tracks are very similar. You know, in a way that I would run the exact same setup, maybe 1 tooth less at Workington as what I do at Glasgow. So they're not too far out with, you know, when they turn up anyway. Yeah, the track, you know, we've got a lot longer straights, but there's still that banking and there's still then grippy starts, which are very similar, you know, very similar tracks. So that's probably why the guys do like Glasgow. And, you know, Craig, they've got an out-and-out number one. He's not, you know, you'll very rarely get him have a bad day. And then they had young Mark Leeson down at the bottom. He was scoring a big pile of points, and it made a difference for him because our reserves, they're just doing the jobs at the minute, which, you know, you can't knock them. They're doing the jobs, they're getting their averages. But to win matches, especially over 2 legs, you need that, like, something special down at reserve who can go out and get you double figures and whatnot. That's what you see in winning teams, you know, solid throughout the 1 to 7.
It's interesting you should liken the Derwent Park track to Ashfield, because over the years, ever since Glasgow have raced at Ashfield, Workington have been a bit of a bogey side for us. They've always done pretty well when they visit Glasgow, and it's interesting that you should make that connection to the way the track rides, I guess.
That's the only reason I can think. Yeah, they're similar in their own way, even though you look at them and think, no, like they are. You know, having ridden them both, setting bikes up for them both, they are similar. Yeah, similar.
Looking back on Sunday again, and you know, credit where it's due, and the Comets riders, you know, obviously played their part in what was a close, nervy meeting throughout. The track this season at Ashfield, and you know, it's come in for some supporters. Stuart Dixon has gone on record mentioning that you know, we need to try and get it a bit more consistent, I guess, for you lads. When the track was the way it was on Sunday, I guess you have the, you know, the heat leaders have the experience, I guess, to deal with that. But if you're not gating strongly, as the younger guys weren't, I guess it must be a huge frustration.
It is, yeah, because like last year, you know, a few of us did some complaining about the track. You know, 1 week it was too heavy and then too wet or whatnot. And this year, all I want is a track like that, you know, some grip, some dirt for me to get in. So then say if I don't make the start, there's someone out there for me to get in, and I can, you know, try and make a pass. Whereas at the minute, the track has been, you know, there's only one line, and if someone's on it, you can't get past because the track just won't allow it. So I think Stuart saw that. I know he's had a few things against him. Like last week, there was a problem with the water. They couldn't get it on quick enough. And I think, yeah, Stuart's noticed that obviously the track hasn't been up to scratch and hasn't been like letting us perform, you know, the way we need to. Say we don't make a start. Like Tom, you know, Tom is a terrible gator. But he'll even admit it himself. And but he's a great rider, and he's not afraid to go in the dirt. And at the minute, the dirt's not there for him to use to come around the guys that's in front, because then guys that probably aren't as fast as Tom are making the start, and they're just sitting on that line, and you see him after lap trying to go around the fence out in the dirt, and it's just not doing anything for him. But I'm actually gonna work with Tom this week one day. Top secret, you know. I'm going to work with him on some starts. I'm going to try and get him out of the gate because obviously I'm a pretty good starter. So I'm going to try and stick him on some of what I do, play it twice. Well, just the whole setup of the clutch and maybe try and teach him a little bit of a technique, which I use. I'll just watch the way he does it first, you know, actually when he's sat on the bike, and then we'll try and maybe change some things to what I think could be better. And we'll see. So hopefully that'll be before the Edinburgh match anyway, because we got to win that one.
Absolutely. And we will come to that, and we'll give a bit of focus on that shortly. It's good to hear that the team behind the scenes are striving for improvement. And after the meeting, young Jack and Dan were out doing some laps in the after the meeting, and hopefully they've learned from that too. I know Aaron's going to take Nike's bike away this week and give it the once over.
Yeah,
see if we can get.
Aaron took Nike's bike off. Yeah, I believe so. He's gonna prep it all up for him, and because Nike went and jumped on Aaron's bike and flew around, and couldn't believe how nice it was. But we've all seen Nike wash Nike's bike when he turns up to it. It looks like it's been washed with a dirty mop. You know, like I think he does need some help in the workshop. He's only a young lad. I think on the bike he's got great skill, but in the workshop, but that I've got a saying, and I learned it, very early on in my speedway career. The majority of your points are scored in the workshop, so you've got to, the work's got to be put in there. Even like the training, everything, all that work has got to be done in the week, or the day before the meeting in that workshop in the gym. And when you get to the track, you're enjoying it, you're having fun, you're riding. You're not fixing a bike, you're not, because that's no good for your mental side of it, especially when you've got to focus on your racing and you're putting a bike together or trying to sort things out.
Talking about the mental side of it, Richie, so the last couple of Glasgow meetings, we picked up in a wee win at Berwick. We had to fight back to do that, and you played a huge part in turning that meeting around. Sunday, a back to the walls job to get over the finishing line against Workington. When the programme comes round to heat 13 and 15, and you're involved in those big heats, what's your coping strategy for focusing?
Well, at the minute, I'm not enjoying being at number 5. I want to get to that number 1, just because in that heat 13, which I would class as one of the harder races of the night, I'm always stuck on the bloody outside gate, And like I pulled up there at Glasgow, and all the starts have been watered, but where everybody rides over 4, it gets slick. All that grip and traction goes off of that one. It gets polished off, and then 1, 2, and 3 stay gripper. So I pulled up at gate 4, and it's like, I always look across and see what the other guys' gates are like, because there's times where I'll pull up to my gate and I think, oh, this is good, and then I look across and think, yeah, yours ain't so good. I'll see you later. Like I do that. It just I don't know why, I just do it. And I've got to the start line, gate 4, looked across and thought, oh crap, yours looks good, mine was crap, And then I think I'd already beat myself there, and I thought, I'm never going to get off this gate here, not in this race, not with these lads, because Ricky's a good gator, Craig's a good gator, Aaron's a good gator. So then I'm thinking, what can I do afterwards? Not Ricky, Thomas. That was don't know why I thought Ricky. I don't know why I thought Ricky Wells. Then I was thinking, yeah. So I was thinking, oh, right, how can I get off of this gate? And I ended up beating, and I tried jumping it, tried really cheating and caught myself out, hold my hands up, and the referee saw that I'd buggered up and let it go. So that's kind of what. Yeah, that's what.
So
back to the question of what do I think? If I don't really think about who's in the race or what race it is, I used to. And I'm more thinking about the track and where do I ride, which part of the track's working, is it outside, inside? Because you do, as a rider, you've got to keep watching that track all night, because it gets to a point where, well, to start, you're around the inside, around the middle kind of thing. And then once to the middle of the meeting, the dirt slowly moves out. So then you're on that. But then sometimes it goes too far out. But some tracks, it definitely does. Glasgow, not so much, because that banking allows you to, to just go right around the bottom of the fence if you can. So you've always got to watch the track, changing the, change the bike as the track changes, with setup, stuff like that. So I'm more thinking of that, not really using the race.
Okay, we spoke to Aaron last week on Tiger Bite, and Aaron talked about Heat 15 and Stuart making you guys aware of what was required, etc. Aaron mentioned that he'd rather not know, to be quite frank, and just go to tapes and do what he needs to do. Do you fall into the same camp, or do you benefit from knowing what you have to do?
So, you could tell me I've just won £1 million before I go out and I'll totally forget about it. As soon as I go down the start line, I don't even. This is going to sound bad, but when I get my helmet on and I just get pushed off, I totally forget about the fact I can't hear anything. I'm just in this little zone, and all I see is like. I get pushed off, and all I see is the start tips. I prep my gate, I sit there, and then I go. And then afterwards, I think, oh yeah, there's actually loads of people watching this one, you know, give them a wave. That's, I don't think about anything else. Nothing, like, you can't get distracted.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense, Richie, that you go off into your own little race head zone, I guess, and do what you have to do. Autopilot, I guess. Richie, let's pick up a couple of questions from some supporters that have come in through social media. So Dot McManus, who I believe is off on holiday. Dot, I don't know if you're watching from your holidays, but thanks for your question. Richie, how do you find the travelling to Glasgow every week?
I love it. It's nice. Nice drive. I never drive any of it. I have a sponsor, you know, an our close friend. He's driven me up and down so far all season. I'm sure there's going to be means where he can't come, and I'll have to do it. But it's only 3 hours. You know, I live in Chorley now, and it's a nice drive. It's going south. That's the problem. You know, you get traffic and roadworks, and there's hardly ever anything on the road when I'm coming up.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it, Richie. Colin Young asks, does Richie Worrall have his own merchandise, and how would we get to see what it looks like?
Ola, go in the.
Do you have any merchandise, Richie?
I'll get my girlfriend to get a t-shirt, and I'll go in that little closet thing and get them the bag of t-shirts. I'm sure there's like a little bag of t-shirts in there. We're showing. Who asked that question?
That was Colin Young. Let me fire another question at you while you're going off to sort that. Ian Adam asks the question, does Richie have a preferred engine tuner, and how long have you been working together?
I'd say it's like anything. You can't. Oh, here's the t-shirts. All right. Same.
69, Richie Worrall. Very nice, Richie. Very nice.
A nice grey colour. Send me a message on Facebook.
How can? Okay.
Or comment on this. I don't know. Just come and find me at Glasgow or whatever, and then I'll put a big bag in the van. We got all sizes. So
there you are, folks. From an orderly queue.
Yeah.
Engine tuner, Richie.
Yeah, engine tuner. When we first started out, we thought that it would be a bright idea to buy an engine off a big name, for example, like, you know, I've got this engine off. One of them was Charlie Jada. You know, he when I first came on the scene, he was quite a big name, Bellevue. He was going well. So we bought a full chassis off him, an engine. And I thought this thing was going to be a rocket ship because it was Charlie Jada's, you know. Yeah. I just look at the engine and you'd be like, oh, bloody hell, it's too fast. I'm not ready for the engine yet. It's too fast. And then Stevie went and blew it up, actually. But that's the thing, you know, it's nobody really sells anything that's any good, because like, if I had an engine, I thought that engine's good, I love it, why would I sell it? You know, like, come on.
That makes sense.
And we would go around buying other people's stuff, and obviously, you know, they've had their time on it, they've made the money out of it, and then they just sell it because they've replaced it with a new one, and then you'd end up spending more on it than what you would have done buying a new one, because, you know, it ends up needing a rod, it needs a piston, you know, because they've hammered it, and then it ends up blowing up because it's just old and tired. So for a number of years now, I've always bought new. So I was with Peter Johns. Like it's a heavy price tag for an engine. You know, you're about £6,000 for an engine all in. And the top tuners are very similar price wise. So now this year, I've gone with Fleming Gravison. He's a Danish tuner. I think Doyley's been working with him, and there's a large number of guys in the Grand Prix, for example, that's using him. And his engines are really simple to work with for me. See, last year, I think the window of them Peter Johns engines that I had for setting them up, the window of getting that set up right was very small. And if you didn't have it, you were searching around trying to, because there's so much you can change on these engines. There's the ignition, for example, that's like ranges from 20 to 30, so you got all that in between to get, you know, and they go in ones, like, so you can either go at 29 or 28 or 27. So that's why Greg Hancock's just a master of it, you know, because he's so good at setting them bikes up. Well, he's a brilliant rider as well, but knowing what to do and when to do it, and that's why, you know, if you fans ever see us, say I could go to Glasgow and get a maximum on Saturday, and then I could go to Newcastle on Sunday and only score about 3 points. It's not through ability, it's through not getting that bike to work right, not getting it to work right from the start, if it not getting it to bite as as well as the other guys is, for example.
Yeah.
And it's purely down to that. Well, the skill does come into it as well. Some guys can't ride some tracks, but majority of the time with the quick guys, it's the setup, and that's what's for me now the hardest part of the game. Like riding the bike is the easy part now. It's getting an engine to work right for what track I'm at. Whereas this Danish tuner, his engine is making things simple for me. Like the ignition, I just leave it where he says, just leave that 28, just leave it there. That's all to do. I never really touched that one. So then all I've got to think about is the jets. So that again, they range from, well, people go lower, but I'm 190, which is just like how much fuel it lets in.
Okay.
So it ranges from 190 to 240 or 250. So you got all them in betweens, and I think they work in fives. So and then sprockets, obviously, it's like a car. You want to go faster, you change up a gear. So we want to go faster. We take a tooth off the back. So, for example, around Glasgow, I run a 59. But if the track's slicking off and I wanted a bit more speed, I'd run a 58 tooth sprocket then. But you can go too far, and then you'll end up going slower because there's not enough, power there to pull that gear. Like trying to go round a roundabout in fifth gear, your car just stop.
Yeah.
But the engines this year is the first time on, and he's making it simple for me in understanding it. And all I've got to think about really is the jets and the gears. That's it.
Cool. Well, it's clearly contributing to the Richie Worrell form this season, because looking back since the start of the year, you had 2 podium places on the Ben Fund and the Berwick 50th anniversary meeting. You've been in double figures home and away, with one exception. I think you got 9 points in that away win at Berwick a couple of weeks ago. But you must be quite pleased with your early season form, Richie.
Yeah, I am. I'm considering, I'm only riding on a weekend. Sometimes only one day, one of them days. So I am really happy with it. I thought I'd be rusty, coming in.
Yeah.
That could be why. A majority of my first races, I've had a second, then I go and win the rest. That could be me just shaking a bit of the rust off because I've not done anything all week, and then I'm finally back on then.
I was going to ask Richie, yourself, Richard, Aaron, you've made no secret of the fact that you would like to have secured a team berth in the Premiership. Selfishly, from a Glasgow point of view, are we getting best out of Richie Worrell because you haven't got any other distractions?
No, I knew. For this winter just gone, I worked hard. I worked hard on the weight because I am one of the largest speedway riders, I think. Looking along the line, I'm not fat, it's just muscle. So that, I think maybe that was I've
got the same problem, Richie. Yeah.
So maybe that was the wrong kind of training what I've been doing. So it's been a lot of running and cycling this winter, and I think I have shifted some weight off. So I worked hard, and there's a lot, like I said it the other day, there's a lot of things happening over the winter, and it's all just kind of like fell together now. And I am in a good place. Moved in with my girlfriend, she's over there.
Hello.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my speedway. Like I say, all the work gets done in the week, and then when the weekend comes, I go and enjoy myself on the bike then.
Good. Sounds like you're in a good place, Richie, and we're clearly seeing that in your racing this year. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago that you had been out to Poland for a week or so. Can you tell us about what you set up out there and how that might come to some fruition for you?
Well, I only went out there just to practice, really, just to try and get on the bike, because my brother had organised to go out there and do some races with this team that was interested in. And it was interesting as both, to be honest. And with me thinking I was at Bellevue, getting falsely led, I had to say no to them because I was looking at the fixtures, looking at Glasgow's and looking at Bellevue's, thinking there's no way that I can be, out there doing that and here doing this. Like, if you're going to race Poland, you really need to just be doing the one league year, because you've got to spend a lot of time out there. And say you go out there and you don't do well, you've got to be out there the day after practicing, or a few days after practicing, working on it, working on engines and setting up, and back to that setting up thing. you can't just go there because they have a squad system there. So say if you do go there and you don't go well,
yeah,
like, right, we'll give you a ring when we need you. It's not like England, you know, got a schedule and we stick to it. They might even ring you up on a Friday and say, right, we need you at this track. You're going to race your teammates, and whoever wins gets the team spot. Like, they do things like that. It's it's a different sport out there, really. But this is one of Poland's lower leagues, which we've signed for.
Okay. Are you able to tell us the name of the team?
Ravich. Yeah, Ravich.
Ravich. Okay.
And I think it's going to be a good thing because it's not one of Poland's bigger tracks. It's still big. Don't get me wrong, it's huge, but it's a good starting point for a guy like me. Well, Doyley started there when he first ventured out to Poland. He started there, and there's Anders Thompson. He's been a Glasgow rider, and he's out and out in Poland now every week. He started off at Ravich, so it's a Kildemand. You know, there's a large number of guys that start off at this track and then slowly step in because it's similar to a UK track, even though it's got that sheer size and it's that sandy material. It's a little bit rough, and you know the corners are a little bit tighter. If you ask, I did a meeting on it, and it's a bit of a trapper's paradise, really. So, you know, if you make the start, you're going to be in a pretty good, comfortable position to win the race. So that's another good thing. The only bad thing is I'm only going to be eligible to do 4 or 5 matches. They have a transfer window out there. You can't just step in whenever. So we've got to wait until the transfer window opens, which is May the 15th. And then we can get out there. Well, they can release that. I've released a contract in there or whatever. I've signed it. It's just locked away in a little cupboard for now. So May the 15th, we can get out there. But obviously Glasgow's got to set priority, the UK. So it's just a case of when I'm not riding with Glasgow, or you know, I can get out there. But they do it in that league. They do it every home match is a Saturday, away matches are a Sunday. So I can do 3 away and 1 home. I mean, it's a big investment. I've sent a lot of money's worth of gear out there because I can't take my English bikes out there. So I've had to, you know, everything that I've got here, I've had to build it and send it out there. So it's a big investment just for the 4, maybe 5 matches. But years are going by where I'm not out there racing. So I think I've got to, regardless if I break even, I've got to do it. I've got to get out there.
I think it demonstrates your ambition, Richie, and obviously a big investment in a number of levels to set yourself up to have that opportunity. So best wishes for that when you get the call. Thanks for telling us about that. Let's begin to look forward to this weekend, Richie. Another big weekend for you in particular, because first of all, there's a top of the table Scottish Derby clash on Saturday night against Edinburgh, and then the following day you move on to the British semi-final down at Brough Park. But let's talk about the Scottish Derby match first of all. If you don't mind me asking, you've been around a few clubs, I guess, and when you move to a new club, you must have an awareness, I presume, of what their Derby meeting might be. What did you know about the Scottish Derby before you ever stepped into one?
Oh, it opened my eyes. It really did. I thought, what's going on here? You know, I've been Somerset and Plymouth. That's a bit of a derby, and that was like, people sat in the stands asleep. You know, there weren't much going on. I can't think of any other derbies really that I've been in, but I don't know. But yeah, that when the Fasanas gave out all the air, was it the Sky match? But that was,
yes, it would have been, the live one.
That was something else. That one, there was plenty of noise, but like that don't have to get you going. You know, I wish we had that every single week. You know, I've yet to go to a football match. I want to go to like a big Premiership FA Cup match or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. You know, like where there's thousands and thousands of fans all singing and chanting, and like, because I've never actually been in with the crowd and you know, listen to what they say, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the grandstand, to be honest. You know, when I'm racing, you know, I'd love to know what people do, what people say, if they have a laugh, what they say. You know, it does interest me a little bit, and that's why I watch videos of it. You know, with all the fans singing and whatnot. And that's kind of, I've had a little glimpse of that from that Edinburgh match. You know, when all the noise, all the air-ons, and it's like a little mini Cardiff. I wish we could have that every week.
We do like to. We do like to think in this part of the world that it's a hotly contested derby, and it's truly meaningful. Gary Havelock mentioned a couple of weeks ago that when your team is beaten, particularly at home, it ruins your week, and I can vouch for that. I know so many people around Glasgow and Edinburgh who, if you lose to your rivals, it literally ruins the whole of your week. So so looking forward to Saturday night, and you're the only Glasgow rider, Richie, deciding on. You're the only Glasgow rider, Richie, who's taken to track with and seen it at close quarters the Edinburgh team this season. You scored 14 points against them for Redcar last Friday night. If you run your eye across the Edinburgh team, what's your assessment of them?
Well, obviously they're going well. They're at the top of the league, aren't they?
Yeah.
They went away. They went Scunthorpe and won. Did a better job than we did there. But to be fair, I looked at the Scunthorpe's top guys, and they had a couple of shockers. They went a lot better than when they was against us and what they did against Edinburgh. So maybe they was having an off night. I'm not sure. That's what gave Edinburgh the win. I don't know. I'd like to think that was it. Yeah, they are strong. Sam's strong, but he's having problems with clutches. So Stuart makes them starts nice and grippy. Hopefully Sam will have some more problems. Ricky's just good. He's just good. Everywhere he goes, he's become one of them riders that as soon as you see him loading his van, you think, oh, for God's sake, he's here. I'm going to beat him or try. They've got a new little Aussie over, something Pickering. Ronnie Pickering.
Josh Pickering, and he started the season very, very well.
He has, yeah. I watched him. He did look good. He looked like aggressive on the bike. He looked good. Who else have they got? Mitchell Davey. I'm sure he knows his way around Glasgow, doesn't he? Who's the other reserves they've got?
Some people might say, Richie, if you analyse the results this season, Edinburgh are top of the league, unbeaten. We are close behind them, 3 points adrift of them. Only that one defeat at Scunthorpe. But if you look at the teams that both clubs have ridden against, it's probably teams in the lower. It's probably more of the unfancied clubs that we've both ridden home and away. We've been tested by Workington and Newcastle, which Edinburgh haven't yet. Edinburgh go to Sheffield tomorrow and face Sheffield again at Armadale on Friday. That'll be a big test for them. And then they're going to come to Ashfield for the third night on the trot to face us on Saturday night. I'd like to think that between improvements to the track and you guys doing what you're doing behind the scenes this week, that we'll be more than ready for them on Saturday.
Yeah, well, there's the problem of they might all be sharp, because they've ridden them 2 nights previous. They might be sharp, or they might be tired, Yep. You don't know. They got the Riss brothers. I just remember they've got both of the Riss brothers who are going really well actually this year, compared to previous years. Like Mike Riss, the younger one, I think he is. He's now got himself an elite league spot as well with Wolverhampton.
Yeah. Eric
is with Leicester, so they must be doing better than me because they got a job in the elite league. But yeah, they did them to impress me. They're at Edinburgh the other night. They're both going really well. So I think we're all gonna have to be performing. Well, we are gonna have it up against us. So that's why hopefully, Nike's, once Aaron's worked his magic on Nike's bike, that's gonna be working well for him. Hopefully we can jump some good starts into Tom, and he doesn't have to do the passing. He can actually clear off. And I think that would be the difference, because as we are now, I think if you was to ask me, and I was being truthful, we'd struggle over 2 legs. In a match over 2 legs, I think we would struggle. It'd be like I'd end up with grey hairs by the end of the 2 matches, because it'd be left down to us for both ones. So we really need them guys, our lower lads, knocking in some more points and helping us out, because then we can go on it. Yeah. Then I know it's my job at the end of the day. I know I've got to go out and win them big races, but I'd rather do it and enjoy doing it rather than do it and be under all that pressure.
Yeah.
So if them lads would just throw in a couple more points for us, we'll help them as much as we can. That's why I'm going to try and work with Tom. It'd make our
I think we all know, Richie, I think we all know the potential's there. It's still pretty early season, and I think everyone believes that the best is yet to come from this team this year, and hopefully that will start to show itself on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's still early doors, and I think Dan's still trying to find his feet with the Glasgow track. He's, we see glimpses of his potential. He's fantastic away. We've seen that. I think he struggles with the grippy starts. Pardon me. I think that might be something we need to work on with Dan, because he does everything else right. His style, his body position on the bike, even his size. It's all perfect. It's for that, speedway rider. I mean, it's all perfect for it. It's just he can't get up front from the get go, and the way the track's been at Glasgow, it's not been letting anybody do any passes really. Hopefully they can start helping us out, and I know they're doing the job at the minute, but we need a bit more.
Absolutely, I'm sure that will come, Richie. Richie, I'm just conscious of time a little bit. Can I ask you about Sunday? Have you got one eye on Sunday yet, or will you think about Sunday when it arrives?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Sunday. Ordered some new clutch plates for it, to be honest. I'm not going to stick them all in because it might be a bit too much. But I am already in that way. I'm thinking, right, Sunday, we've got it important to make starts. I know Newcastle it is a tough place to pass. That's why my brother's been there the last 3 years, because he's not very good at passing. So he can just get out the gate. Nothing against him. He just does it from the gate, doesn't he? And that's why he can go there week in, week out, and it's easy money. But I don't think it's going to make him any better. So yeah, I am thinking about that one. I know it's going to be a tough match, and I think we have got the tougher one of the two semis, if I remember rightly when I looked. And it was me and Richards there, so hopefully we get plenty of Glasgow fans down there making loads of noise, and I might go a bit faster.
Excellent. Just a quick question that came in from a Glasgow fan who lives in Newcastle. I'm sure you might know the name, Andrew Bailey. Andrew, thanks for all your questions earlier today. And the question, how does Richie feel when he races Steve? And do you share track knowledge and machinery?
We don't share machinery. We do share track knowledge. Not on the same day. We do, or if we're against each other. Well, when we're riding on the same team, we'll, maybe just on a conversation, what you're running, say if he's struggling or if I'm struggling with the setup. But I think we've learned when we're against each other, don't ask it. Don't ask, because I'm going to tell you. Because I'm going to tell you a load of lies. I made that mistake. The British semi last year, actually. He went out in his first race and he fell off. His bike was a bit aggressive, so obviously I'm watching. Whenever he's racing, I'm watching. So I watched his bike and it was really aggressive, and he's come in and I've said that, well, you fell off there because your bike's like way too aggressive. What setup have you got? So he told me, I was like, you don't run that, you run this. So I told him what I was running. Then he went out and won every other race then and beat me. I said, oh yeah, never telling him anything again. I'll just tell him a load of lies next time.
I like it. Richie, there's lots more questions that I would love to put to you, and perhaps we can do this again later in the season. Just got to keep one eye on time, Richie, for the purposes of a single broadcast. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for your efforts in Tigers colours. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday night, and hopefully there'll be a white-hot derby atmosphere around Ashfield. Tapes up at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. Glasgow, Edinburgh, the first Scottish derby of the season, and a top of the league clash this early on in the season. Plenty to look forward to. Apologies for my fluffed lines at the top of the show. I managed to get myself together. Brian, please come back next week and keep across Tigers social media, folks, for all things Glasgow Speedway between now and Saturday. Good luck to Dan and Jack again down at Poole tonight. Richie, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us, folks, for Tiger Bite. Look forward to your company again next week. Thank you. Good night.
See you later, guys. All right, is that